Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be painting the brake calipers on my SRT4, and I'm going to go step by step and show you how to do it yourselves. So today we're going to need trash bags, acetone, tape, paint, caliper paint specific, and brake clean, wire brush, a ratchet, and 320 grit sandpaper and 600 grit sandpaper. But first things first, we got to jack up the car. So after you get the wheel off the car, you're going to want to pull the caliper off, and there should be 2 bolts on the back that you can get to, and then the caliper will come right off. And make sure you have a box or something to set it onto so you're not hurting the brake lines. We don't want to tear our brake line, because if we do that, then you'll have to wait to get a new line, and your whole system will leak all over the floor, and then you don't have brakes, so you're not going anywhere for a while. Alright, so on my car I had the caliper and then the caliper bracket as well. And so this one had 2 bolts on the back that were 12mm, and so I pulled those out from the guide pins and pulled the caliper out. And then the caliper bracket had 2 bolts that were 18mm on the back, so I pulled those out, and then I got the caliper bracket out. And I actually just replaced this because one of my caliper bracket, one of the guide pins, it was rusted shut, or rusted in, so it wouldn't move at all. If you can see that. So now they move, but look, it's only been a month and they're already rusting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray these things off with brake clean, and then we're gonna start sanding them, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we're gonna prep these calipers now, because look at all the grease and all the dirt and crap on these things. We can't paint it like this, because if we do, the paint will just fall off as soon as we put it on. It won't last very long at all, so it'll just crack off. So we don't want rust, we don't want grease, and we want a pretty surface, so when we're done, we have a pretty product. And after we spray our brake clean on the calipers, we're gonna scrub them with our wire brushes to get all the crap off of them, and then they should be looking clean, and we'll get to the sandpaper part. One thing I didn't say is to wear gloves while you're doing this with brake clean and stuff, because that stuff's really bad for your skin and it'll dry it out and crack. So wear your gloves to prevent getting rust in your skin, and brake clean and acetone and all those other nasty chemicals. Depending on how much time you spend on the prep work is how well your product is going to be at the end. So with this car, I'm not going to spend all day on it, but I am going to get it really clean and then scratch it with the sandpaper just to get all the rust off of it and imperfection, and then we're just gonna spray it. So now that I got the caliper pretty clean with my wire brush, I'm going to get my acetone, wipe it off, and then we're gonna start sanding. So now that our caliper is nice and clean, we're gonna sand it with our 320 sandpaper and get rid of all our rust. Now we're gonna hit it with our 600 grit sandpaper just to smooth it out a little bit better so the paint really adheres to it and it doesn't look all scratched up. So now we're gonna start masking, and anything that's rubber that you don't want paint on, mask that. And in this case for the guide pins, I'm just going to pull them out if I can. Maybe I'm kind of weak. Okay, well, I'm just gonna pull them out and put tape over it. So I'll show you that. And then on the actual caliper, we're gonna put paint over the hard line, and we're gonna put paint over the piston inside so we don't get any overspray in that. All right, let's get to it. Oh, and also we're gonna put a trash bag in here just so you don't get any paint inside your wheel well, and it all the paint goes on the caliper, not anywhere else. So now that we've got everything masked off and we're sure no red paint is gonna get where we don't want red paint, we are going to finally wipe this down one more time with acetone to get all the dust off, just so our paint will stick really, really well and bond to the caliper and it's not cracking and peeling off later on. Today we're going to be using VHT high temperature caliper paint, and make sure you shake it up real good and that it's warm enough outside so it actually comes out correctly. So we're doing 3 coats, and we're going to wait 5 minutes between each coat. And make sure when you're doing this you have your face mask just so you're not breathing in any harmful paint chemicals. Once the calipers are dry, you can flip them over and we can finish. All right. Okay, we're gonna put on our last coat, and after we put on the last coat, we're gonna let it dry for 30 minutes, and then we'll put it back on the car. be afraid when after you get the caliper done and put on, if you see a spot that you missed, just hit it again. It's not gonna hurt anything. And you see that right there? A bug landed in my wet paint. Bro! And there it is. Can't even tell. See, that bug couldn't ruin my night. How about that? And there's our finished product. Look how pretty that is. It is booty full. Well, we're at the end of the video. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching the whole video. And if you made it this far, please, please, please leave a like and a subscribe. It is so, so appreciated. And I left a tip for the very end, and it's that each red caliper you paint is plus 5 horsepower. And that's a fact.